Well, I've been home from Russia for 1 week already. In my 6-week internship in Russia, I was based on the south coast in a very small town called Novomikhailovsky. While I was there, I taught English on a summer camp. I was there for 3 sessions, so there were 3 sets of kids that I got to know. Well over 100 kids, and it sounds like a simple job, but it's anything but. When you don't speak the local language, and some of your students don't speak English yet, and some of your colleagues don't speak English, it makes a simple job really tough. When I was in Russia, I became an expert at having my way known and explaining to people exactly what I wanted or exactly what I needed from them, using nothing but hand gestures and pictures drawn and the few scraps of the Russian language that I was able to pick up. Now that I'm home and I don't have to do that saga every time, it's a very strange feeling. But I think that demonstrates how much I've grown as a person. My ability to assert myself and have my needs met have grown in a way that I didn't expect. Going on this internship, I expected it to be fun, and it was, but it was also really hard sometimes. Being not only one of the few English speakers in the area, but being so far away from the major cities. Moscow is not the same. There are lots of English speakers in Moscow because it's a major city. But this little town that I was in, myself and one English teacher were literally the only English speakers in the town. We were quite famous because of it. There were shopkeepers who knew who we were before we got there because word had spread. There were these English speakers from England and Australia in town. That's the level of English that this town had. So it was a real challenge. The first few days, I didn't know what was happening. I followed people blindly and hoped that I would pick up what was happening. There were some days when I had classes that I didn't prepare for because I wasn't aware it was a day of lessons. And it was tough some days, but it was so exciting. There was never a day of boredom, I can tell you that. There was never a day of it being the same as the last. Every day was different. And my ability to be resilient and be adaptable, it's unrecognizable now. When you have been in a place for 6 weeks where they don't speak your language and you just have to keep pushing yourself to ask what's going on in a mixture of broken English, broken Russian and sign language, you get very good at knowing your own limits and knowing that you can go a hell of a lot further than you thought you could, because when you're at home, you're comfortable and it's easy. So I would definitely say give it a go. Maybe Russia's not your thing, but there are so many places in this world that you can have the same experience. Personally, I loved Russia. I would recommend it wholly. Every Russian person I met invited me to their home for a meal, drove me around, showed me around their cities, taught me about their customs, their cultures, and patiently waited as I tried to speak the few words in their language that I could. And then they would introduce me to another Russian person who would do the same favors for me. Russian people are wonderful, and Russia is such an interesting place. It has such a rich and incredibly long history. It's rich in culture, it's diverse in culture and language, and I would definitely recommend doing an internship there if you are able to. So good luck on your journey, and I hope that you are able to see Russia soon.